Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes. Between them, the Tories and Labour over the last 48 hours have absolutely ensured that Reform will win the next general election. There's no two ways about it now, because they are alienating the single biggest voting bloc in this country. The ones who nominally are the biggest voters by percentage. The ones who nominally decide elections based on rational thought. We're talking about older people. We're talking about mainly pensioners, but those in their 50s as well. Basically, everyone over 50 is going to vote Reform. And why is this? Well, it's because of the sheer lunacy that both Keir Starmer and Kemi Badenoch have engaged upon. For Keir Starmer, he has just been doing a little kind of mini shuffle after disposing of Tulip Sadiq, and he's put Torsten Bell in charge of pensions, amongst other things. Torsten Bell is a man who basically loathes the state pension. He doesn't want it to rise. He wants it to basically rise by the smallest possible amount. And he wants to encourage more people to take out private pensions and be self-sufficient. But what he wants to do is not start that with the young people going forward so that they are suitably encouraged by the time they retire in many, many years. He wants to bring that in almost immediately and make people who are currently retired or about to retire much worse off by not increasing the pension. He absolutely wants to destroy the pension triple lock. And so the pensioners, or the ones in their 50s who are becoming to be pensioners soon, are looking at Labour and thinking, not a chance. Why would you do this? Why would you attack pensioners? Who knows? People have paid in their whole life and now they're going to be screwed by the Labour Party. And Kemi Badenoch, she too has looked at pensions. She too is treating pensions as something that they're not. She wants to put a means testing onto the triple lock. And that is to say, if you aren't getting enough, if you're on other benefits, you'll get the higher rate of increase, or if you are fine, you'll get the lower rate of increase. Which means different pensioners will get different pensions. Now, if you've made your contributions your whole life, you should be entitled to the pension. And it should not be means tested in any way. Because the pension is not a benefit. A benefit is something you get for nothing. A pension is something you have worked and contributed for your whole life. To suddenly means test it goes against everything that the pension actually is. And so the pensioners and those in their 50s will look at the Tories and think, no. And since the Lib Dems are just no, just no, what does that leave? Well, it leaves Reform. And Reform will benefit massively. I think between the two of them, between Starmer and Badenoch, they have just signed the death knell of their respective parties. And I think they've just guaranteed not only a Reform government, but probably a Reform majority government. Up until today, hitherto, it was going to be Reform as part of a coalition, probably with the Tories, to form a coalition government, because there would have been a hung parliament. Now, as of today, I suspect there will not be a hung parliament. I suspect the biggest voting bloc will vote Reform. And given that young people tend not to vote and middle-aged people tend to vote more, but not, tremendously, but old people are always the highest percentage of voters, I think it's guaranteed. These people, the likes of Starmer and Badenoch, must be absolute lunatics. They can't afford pensions that people are entitled to, but they're all happy to spend hundreds of billions of pounds abroad for people who've contributed nothing to this country and who never will because they hate us. And they seem to think that if we spend money abroad, it will change how these people think about us. They don't. They'll take the money and they'll still hate us. So I say, not one brass farthing in foreign aid, not one penny to leave this country to go anywhere in the world. And we look after our own. Now, I might be wrong. People might think, well, that's wrong, Dave, but I don't think I am wrong. I think we must look after our own and say to the rest of the world, I tell you what, you've had it good, no more. We're cutting you off. You want to live a better life, you get off your asses, you work, you create a better society. Because if you aren't in a position where that's possible, it's because your societies are shit and we don't want them. What we want is a society that treats the retired, the pensioner, with respect and doesn't use people's old age and poverty as a political tool. And yet that's exactly what we're getting with these unethical, inhumane bastards, both red and blue, it seems. Tory and Labour, you couldn't tell them apart, could you? Why on earth do they think this is acceptable? Are there policy wonks not listening to what they're proposing and saying, oh, I don't think that'll go down well. I think that might lose you some votes. I think that's a really, really bad idea. If they're not doing their job, fire them. Alternatively, it could be the policy wonks coming up with that idea. But in which case, why aren't the politicians saying, that's madness, we'll never get away with it? And fire the policy wonks again. Because either way, whatever their advisors are doing is the wrong thing. Pensions are not negotiable. Britain's already got the worst pension of the developed world, and they're looking to make it worse. Meanwhile, of course, we keep bringing in millions of immigrants and giving all our hard-earned taxpayer money to them. It's wrong. We need a government with balls to shut the door and say no more. Let me know what you think. Thanks very much. Till next time, stay safe, stay well, and I will speak to you later. Bye.